Okay, and then what happened after that?
I went outside and I told Mr. Anderson that
Or what happened? Did she just disappear?
Might have gotten disconnected. Here,
I did start live streaming it. Did you guys all get a notification that you had
Yes.
to accept it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Maybe she accidentally. I don't know. But we're required by the OCA. There she is. She's back.
Ms. Bench?
Ms. Bench, are you there?
I'm here. I apologize, the computer.
Okay, we lost you right
Yes.
as I asked you what happened next after you called 911.
I went back outside and I overheard Corey talking to Alfonso that he knew Kenneth, he knew Nancy, he knew Gerald, he knew Joe personally. He said that he didn't want the house to be sold. And I told him, well, I never received any documents or anything saying that the property taxes was behind. So therefore I told him I was not gonna sign anything and that I had already, not dialed 911, that they were en route. And he told Al the last thing he said was, the next time you see me, this is gonna be my house and it's gonna be a better house. And I laughed at him. He got in the pickup. He went to the corner, turned to the right. So I went around, I got in my car. I went up the street, around the block, basically, to see where Mr. Anderson was, if he was gonna go meet anybody. And he was parked at the library. So I came on back home. It was probably like 2 hours. Like I said, the police arrived and asked, was everything okay? I indicated there was a gentleman that had approached me that he had bought my property for taxes, and that I believe that it was a scam, and I just wanted him to be here present with me. And he said, okay, if he comes back, please call 911.
And when's the next time you saw Mr. Anderson?
The next time I saw Mr. Anderson was with Kenneth Bench.
What year?
It was August the 12th, 2017. I was cleaning out my garage. It's 6 days before my birthday.
Tell us what happened.
I saw Kenneth pull up first in a red Mustang. It's a female. She goes by the name of Kendra. She got out, the passenger. He got out of the car. Corey met them. Engaged at that time when I looked. They were gauging at me. Corey had a clipboard with some papers. And Bubba's screaming, or Kenneth is screaming at me, you're gonna sign these papers. You're gonna sign these papers today. I'm gonna kill you. And Corey's with the clipboard in hand. I'm on the porch. I already made it on the porch where I can't go anywhere, only into my house, but the door was closed. When Corey did like this with the clipboard and Bubba said, I'm gonna kill you, I did like this. He went like this, he pushed me, the clipboard fell. I screamed, closed my eyes, screaming, yelling, crying. I remember Al saying, the police is coming, the police is coming. And then here comes my son out the door Said, hey, don't you touch my mom. Corey's getting me by the hand to sign the paper.
Were you traumatized by this incident? How long were you traumatized?
I'm still traumatized.
I couldn't understand what she said.
What did you say? How long? How long you been traumatized?
I'm traumatized. I just want to say about 3 months, 4 months. It never went away.
Does it bother you now to think about it?
Yes.
Did you ever give Corey permission to touch you?
No.
Did you give him permission to grab you?
No.
Did he keep you from going into the house?
Yes. He grabbed my hand, but my son came out and said, hey, don't touch my mom again. He wanted me to sign the paper.
Were you scared?
Yes, I was frightened. His mama's always hit me and abused me physically and sexually all my life.
Were you injured by the incident?
I had a bruise on my left breast.
Did you take any medication?
Yes,
What did you take?
I had some pain medication that a doctor prescribed me due to an accident. I wanted
Was
to
that
go
before?
to,
Was that before this?
yeah, way
What,
before
do you remember the name of it?
hydrocodone.
And what did it? Did it help you the pain?
Yes, because hydro puts me to sleep.
And did you take any other medication after this incident?
I had, like I said, I've been abused all my life, and I've had some Cozapad from a psychiatrist that she gave me, and I went in there and I took one. Went to sleep.
Do you want this court to punish Mr. Anderson for what he did?
Yes,
Do you want this court to award punitive damages against him?
yes,
Do you believe that his actions that he took was with an intent to harm you?
yes,
Why?
because he wanted my house. He tried every way. He came it seemed like every other day he was here, sending people to my house, posting. He'd bring the cops to act like they were a constable to serve me eviction.
And did he also send you text messages?
Yes.
How did you feel when you received those messages?
So when I received the text message, there goes the trauma again. He said, hey, I'm not a bad guy. I just want to talk to you. And I just got stuck in this deal, and we got stuck in this deal, and I want out. What is it gonna take for you?
Well, you heard him say he didn't pay anything to your brother, right?
Yes, I hear that.
So did he ever tell you how he got stuck in this deal?
No, he said that I have it exactly words. Stated that
Yeah, Derek, what exhibit number is that with the text messages? We're going to offer that exhibit this time, Your Honor.
exhibit number is it?
Derek?
It's exhibit 8.
8, Your Honor. Your Honor, put that on the screen, please. Is that okay with you, Your Honor?
Yeah, let me enable that. Go ahead.
Said, Linda, need to talk to you. I said, who's this? He said, is this Linda? He said, this is Corey. And I said, I don't know who Linda is. He said, really? Seriously? We need to talk. It's kind of important. I don't know.
Is this a true and correct copy of those text messages?
Yes.
Your Honor, we'd offer exhibit 8 this time.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Exhibit 8 is admitted.
No. Ms. Bench, the court will be able to read these. I don't need you to read those.
Okay.
Can you tell Judge Hoffman why you told him this wasn't Linda?
Because I thought he was going to come back and kill me. And I didn't know how he got my phone number. Because he's never called me. He's always approached the property, never called me. And it was just weird that he had got my phone number and texted me that.
Ms. Bench, have you had any peace since the time that you were attacked by Corey?
Peace? No.
Peace.
Definition.
How often do you think about what happened to you?
Every day.
How does it bother you?
I'm terrified. I look over my shoulders. I don't want to leave my property. I feel scared to go outside.
Do you have any problems sleeping?
Yes, I do.
What kind of problems do you have?
I have nightmares. They're gonna kill me for my property. I have a lot of memory of abuse, the touching. With my brother, Kenneth, sexually assaulted me when I said no.
I pass a witness.
Mrs. Bench,
Yes, sir.
what was the date of the alleged assault with Mr. Bench, with Kenneth? The one that's the subject of this lawsuit.
August the 12th, 2017. 6 days before my birthday.
Okay. Who was present at the incident?
I don't know.
You're unaware of who was on the premises?
Oh, I thought you said who was the president. I'm sorry. The people that was on the premises was my 2 kids. They were inside, Oliver and Samantha. It was Jose on the couch. Because he works night, he sleeps on the couch. With me in the garage cleaning. Like I said, it was Corey. Kenneth came up gauging into from the driveway into the porch where they counted me at. And Kendra was by the pole, by the fence.
So how did they arrive?
Corey was in a black dark tinted Ford pickup, and Kenneth came in a red Mustang.
Now you had you met Corey subsequent to that date?
Yes.
What was Corey driving subsequent to that date?
The same black vehicle. The dark tinted windows.
Did he ever ride with anyone else?
Okay, so are you asking me if you ride before or after?
Subsequent to the alleged incident, so subsequent to August 12th, when you had met Corey, did he come alone or with other people?
That day he came with Kenneth and that girl. And then after that, he started coming by himself. And then I recall one time he was came, the police was called. He called the police. It was raining. He had a gentleman with a beard and he was recording. I went outside, I took pictures, you know. I asked the officer, could I speak to him? He said yes. Came up on the porch. He had his camera. I remember him touching his camera and I asked him, are you recording? And he said yes. Corey asked the officer, you're recording? And he backed up and he said, yes, I'll always record. And then
did you take any pictures or videos at the time of the incident?
we had video. The officer, like I told you, explained to me to go to get a USB, put it into my box of my camera. I did. I went to download to transfer the videos to my PC that crashed. I don't have it anymore. And when I went back to the box was cut. The wires, one day we arrived and there was no signal. The wires had been cut. And I said, oh, somebody cut the wires on the box. So I called my son and I was like, I'm gonna Zelle you some money. I need a new security system because I'm scared. He's like, you don't have to Zelle me, I'll get you one. I'll be over to install it.
So the officers advised you to transfer the security video to USB.
Yes.
You went to transfer it over USB and saw that the wire had been cut.
Yes. Well, no, I transferred the USB, all the documents from those days that Corey was showing up, from the first day, from the Kenneth, from to that day that I did the USB. It was many times that he showed up. When looked in the garage, video showed that the door had opened and the dogs were barking.
So since it was transferred over to a USB, you would still have those videos, is that correct?
No, I lost the USB when we were jamming it, or I was trying to get it working, and the USB on the bottom it broke. But I had, before that, when I put the USB into the PC of the Dell, they were all there. They were all there.
So you still have them on the Dell computer then, is that correct?
I do not, because the Dell computer crashed.
So you don't have any pictures or videos of the incident?
None of the incident.
Did you ever turn those pictures or videos over to the Dallas police?
They saw them when they came out, and they saw like I said, when Al said the police was coming, they seen them engaging on me. And then when Corey grabbed my arm, the officer said, hey, you better not hit her, I'm gonna put you in jail. And then I was screaming, yelling, crying, and then the officer came to me. It was a female, and she said, you want me to call the ambulance? I told her no. I said no.
So it's your testimony that the Dallas police actually witnessed the assault?
When they came up, they saw me on the door, like, and Corey touching me and like gonna get my hand. And they said, if you touch her, I'm going to take you to jail. And at that time he had already touched me, but he was trying to get me again. And then that's when they let go. And then everything took place as, if you come back around here one more time, I'm gonna take you to jail. I'm gonna get you for trespassing. I've tried many times to get a hold. I have documents where I requested of these incidents, but due to COVID, they just keep on writing me, working on your request at this time. We'll send you an email, a link to obtain them, and you can print them out for your records. And I haven't, all I'm getting is messages saying that they're working on it. And I had even requested the body cam from the officer. Now that video I do have when Corey was on the porch with the officer. And then they came in.
But that was not that incident, correct?
No, that was a different incident.
So you're saying that you're unable to gotten police records over the last 4 years because of COVID.
I'm telling you what they're telling me, what the letter says, that they're working on my request.
The assault occurred over 4 years ago, correct?
The assault occurred on August 12, 2017. That's correct.
So what happened in the interceding 4-year time period? Did you ever follow up on it?
I have followed up. I have went to the city of Dallas myself 2 or 3 times. The door, they say there's a paper on the door that says we are closed due to indefinitely due to the COVID.
Talking about prior to COVID.
No, I didn't go until I obtained my attorney.
Prior to the partition lawsuit being filed, did you ever attempt to follow up on the police report?
I didn't go get a police report.
What were the names of the officers?
I don't remember their names. I know what they look like.
Approximately how many minutes did it take them to respond?
When they on the incident, they were there. It seemed like that they were there like in minutes. I don't know when Al called. I just know he said, "Hey, the cop said he was on the phone. I'm screaming, yelling," and then all I know is that's when the female officer came and the male, and it's like, and then Corey's over there with the clipboard trying to give me the sign, and Kenneth said, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. You don't sign these people, I'm gonna kill you."
Objection, non-responsive. So the assault must have been ongoing for a really long time if the police weren't called until the assault started and they arrived and it was still occurring. Is that correct? Is that your testimony?
The assault had already occurred when the police had arrived. We were just in the process of my son coming out to break up the assault, but Corey was still trying to get me to sign. He still had his hand.
Objection, non-responsive. I believe that your testimony was that Jose had come out. Your earlier testimony was that Jose had come out to break
my
it
son
up
went out the door to intervene. Yes.
before the police arrived. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So, how was Corey able to still be grabbing your hand at the time that the police arrived? Was he battling through and pushing through Jose?
Jose was trying to get them off the porch, and I was at the door. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't go anywhere.
You are allegedly still in the heat of the moment. So were you standing when Corey allegedly grabbed you, or were you on the ground?
No, I was on the porch. I
Were you laying on the ground or standing?
No, I was standing. I was leaning over, and then Corey had got my hand, and then my son tried to, and then the cops pulled up, and then it's like, "If you touch her, I'm gonna take you to jail." And then my son was trying to get me and try to get the door open so that's the only place I could go in was into the property, into the house.
So what type of document did they want you to allegedly sign?
I never read the document. I didn't want to touch the document.
About how long of a document do you project it to be?
I just know it was some pages. I just know it was just some pages.
Can you estimate? Was it, say, 50 pages?
I'm gonna object. Cause for speculation. She didn't see the document.
Well, what I'm asking is about how thick. It is her testimony that she saw the document.
She said she saw it.
Was it approximately 50 pages?
It was probably like 5 pages, for me to sign. But the pages that he kept on coming and putting on my door was probably like 60 pages. It was like, I guess, to serve me or to have me go to court. I think they were like probably like 10 of those coming every month, posting that he was going to make me pay rent. Let's sign a lease.
All right, objection, non-responsive.
Overruled. Go ahead.
So
You have anything else, Mr. Newton?
yes, Your Honor, I apologize. So in your petition, you state, is it correct that you state in your petition that Kenneth shoved you?
He shoved me, but he fist me. He punched me in my chest. I had a bruise. I went down. Corey was trying to make me sign the paper. I went back because I was at my door. The only place I could follow was to my door.
Well,
He pushed me and he was like, "You're gonna sign these papers. You're gonna sign these papers today. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you." That's all he kept on saying. "You're gonna sign these papers. You're gonna sign the papers."
And then I understand in your petition that you wrote, it was after he shoved you that you ran to the door. So were you at the door at the time of the assault, the alleged assault, or did you run to the door after the?
I couldn't run to the door. I was already at the door. I was running in the door. In the door means into the door to get away from him. In the door means like if the door's shut, and they're trying to open the door for me to get in the door, to run inside the door. If the door was closed and I'm trying to
run. So if we look at, and if I may share your counterclaim with you, Your Honor, may I share screen to look at the counterclaim?
I'm object to improper use of the petition.
Overruled.
Mrs. Bench, can you see the paper that I'm showing?
Yes, I can.
On paragraph 13 there, do you see where it says after the push, Linda attempted to run for her home to get inside her house?
Yes, I see that.
But Kenneth grabbed Linda by the arm to stop her.
Yes, that's what it said.
Is that correct?
It says what it says, but how it happened, when I say inside, when the door came open, that was the only place I was trying to run to get away from Corey and Kenneth. They both came at me. Corey came at me with a clipboard. Bubba's telling me he's gonna kill me. He's always hit me. I didn't know at that moment. I was trying to run to get inside my property. And when I said run, I was trying to run into the living room to get away from these individuals.
So,
and Corey had me to try not to let me go in the door. He was trying to get my hand. He did get my hand. He touched my hand and I did like this. I was fighting him. I was crying. I was fighting, trying to get away from these people.
So specifically, if you continue to look at the petition, nowhere in your petition do you actually claim that Corey struck you or touched you in any way. Is that correct? In fact, you say that it's Kenneth that grabbed you by the arm to stop you from going inside. Is that a correct assessment of the last sentence of paragraph 13?
I'm going to object. Council's mischaracterizing. Paragraph 12 clearly says Mr. Anderson was holding. So,
you said Mr. Anderson was holding the documents. Not that he was holding Mrs. Anderson. I mean, this whole Mr. Anderson was the one that struck me. This has not been fairly pleaded in the petition. This is brand new. No, it's not, one, it's not in the counterclaim. Two, it's not in any of the discovery that was responded to by by counter plaintiff.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mr. Chu, show me in the petition where it says that there was any offensive touching by Mr. Anderson.
right there in paragraph 13. Like Kenneth, while Mr. was holding, still present and standing.
I mean, that doesn't say to me that that's an offensive touching.
I understand, y'all. This is, again, it's just notice pleadings and they didn't specially accept anything. So if Corey,
Your Honor, there still has to be fair
I
notice
understand.
within the petition itself. You have to
Again,
have
Your
fair
Honor.
notice of the claim to be able to argue the claim successfully.
Did you guys
Yes.
send requests for disclosures in this case, Mr. Newton?
No, sir.
we said he never responded.
Mr. Newton, you never responded to requests for disclosures?
No. Again, he didn't open the counterclaim until recently, like last week.
Okay. All right, let's keep going.
So again, Mrs. Bench, do you agree that the petition does not state that Mr. Anderson ever touched you?
Yes,
Now, I would like to switch over to your interrogatories. If I get to the right one here. If you look at interrogatory number 13, so this is your response to the intervener's request for interrogatories. So interrogatory number 13 asks, describe why you believe Corey Anderson was working as an agent for a better place and is their enforcer. And you answer that Mr. Anderson is a thug. Is that correct?
I did.
And then is there anywhere in that answer where you state that Mr. Anderson physically touched you in any way?
I did. He pushed me.
Well, I'm
He
asking
grabbed me.
in the interrogatory that you're reading on the screen. This is your specific answer.
Yes, Corey is a thug. I said that.
Correct. Did you state in this your answer to
No,
this
I didn't.
interrogatory that Mr. Anderson touched you?
Yeah, I'm gonna object. Now, this question doesn't ask about what Corey Anderson did. Just ask him how she thought he was acting on behalf of the other defendant that has been released. Does it state in detail all actions that Corey Anderson took?
Yeah, I kind of agree with them.
Okay, Your Honor, may I move up to interrogatory number 11?
Yeah, I can see that.
This speaks specifically to whether the actions that occurred at the alleged incident. She provides the exact same answer. Mrs. Bench or Miss Bench, does your answer in this interrogatory state that Mr. Anderson touched you in any way?
Again, yeah, this question refers to two other parties, the Miss Bench and the A Better Place.
Your Honor, this entire case is dealing with Mr. Bench. My client is not being accused of anything until this day regarding physical touching.
Okay. I mean, I see what it says. It doesn't say that Mr. Anderson touched her. Let's move along.
Mrs. Bench, considering that your counterclaim, in your counterclaim, you do not allege that Mr. Anderson touched you. And in your responses to discovery, you do not claim that Mr. Anderson touched you. Why are you just now for the first time stating that Mr. Anderson touched you?
Said it all along. I gave my statement, the same statement.
I'm sorry?
I said, I told them the same statement that I just told the courts right now, the truth and nothing but the truth. Corey Anderson and Kenneth Bench illegally.
Objection, Your Honor. It's a
What's it?
legal
Can we get a
conclusion.
basis?
Overruled, it's overruled. Keep going. You can finish, Ms. Bench.
Okay, thank you. Knowing that they came to the property for me to sign this document. That was all that they wanted. They needed me to sign.
So, Mrs. Anderson, so going back, if you can review that interrogatory number 11, you provide a different timeline or transaction of events that occurred. And do you agree with that?
It's because it was so many
Versus your
times
petition.
because it was so many times that Mr. Anderson had approached me.
I'm talking
Mr. Anderson,
specifically about the date of the alleged incident. So in your answer, you say that Corey and Kenneth charged at you, and then Kenneth punched you in your left breast very hard. And at the time, they were in front of you on different sides, and you were blocked from running away.
because the door was closed. That's correct. When my son opened the door,
Whoops.
it gave me a place to run, like to get away.
All right. So so the transaction of events in your petition state that Mr. Bench yelled at you, then Mr. Bench shoved you, then you ran to the door, but Mr. Bench grabbed your arm. And then Mr. Bench tried to kill or threatened to kill you. And there it says with Corey in tow. Why would you say that with Corey in tow?
Yeah, objection. Again, these are pleadings by the attorneys. They're not sworn pleadings.
Let's move along, Mr. Newton. At this point, I think you've done as much as you can.
Okay, and if I may just finish real quick, and then he struck you with your fists at the end there. So you had mentioned something in your earlier testimony, Mrs. Bench. Sorry, there, good. Mrs. Bench, you had mentioned earlier in your testimony that you had actually met Mr. Anderson for the first time in 2016. Is that correct?
In the late 2016. When I say late, that was probably like after September, when he first came and said that he had bought the property for taxes. That was the first thing that he said. I'm here because I bought the property for the taxes.
Your Honor, if I may offer as an exhibit the warranty deed from Kenneth Bench to Mr. Anderson.
Okay.
Yeah, I object to the relevance at this time.
This is exhibit B. Your Honor, the relevance is to show that while her testimony is that Mr. Anderson had already obtained Mr. Bench's interest in 2016, the actual deed shows that he did not obtain it until 2017, September of 2017.
The only evidence has been that he claimed he got the property from a tax foreclosure sale. The deed has nothing to do with that.
Your Honor, that's an incorrect statement. My client never stated that, is never alleged that he obtained his interest in the property from a tax foreclosure sale.
That was the testimony from Ms. Bench.
So what's this exhibit number?
This is exhibit number
Defendants what?
Sorry, let me get to my list. I apologize. I was actually on their list. This is actually also provided by opposing counsel. So this will be exhibit number 8, Your Honor.
Defendants 8 is
No,
admitted.
I'm sorry. That is incorrect. It is exhibit number 6.
Defendant 6 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Let me see here. So, Mrs. Bench, have you ever seen the deed from Mr. Bench to Mr. Anderson?
Indeed, no.
I'm showing on my screen the exhibit that was just admitted as exhibit 6. This is a special warranty deed. In it, it describes Kenneth Ray Bench as the grantor and Corey Anderson as the grantee. You'll notice that it was filed in September 2017 and that it was signed on September 21st, 2017. So this was the first time that Mr. Anderson actually had an interest in the property. Do you agree with that?
No, I do not.
What is your contention? When do you believe that Mr. Anderson first obtained an interest in the property?
When he came to my house in late 2016, the very first time I met Mr. Anderson, the very first time I pulled up, he was already at the property. He did tell me that he needed me to sign. I told him I was not going to sign any documents. Okay, he left August the 12th, 2017, after I did not sign that document, I was receiving letters under Marquez, Linda Marquez. I've never went by Linda Marquez. I went to the Dallas appraisal. They have told me that I've signed my signature, Linda Marquez, Corey Anderson, and Kenneth Bench. I told them I never signed anything. And that's the truth. Once they signed Linda Marquez, that made me a legal person under Linda Marquez. I never signed anything because number one, I would never sign Linda Marquez.
Objection, non-responsive.
I don't think you're being responsive at this point. Let's go on to the next question.
Ms. Bench, Ms. Bench, describe for me the time periods in which you lived on the property.
I've lived here. I was born and raised in this home. I was born in August 18, 1972. I lived in this property. I moved out. Okay, I lived with a friend. I ran away when the abuse started with Kenneth. Went to Mexico. My parents begged me to come back. I came back. 1993, I was pregnant. Found I was pregnant. 94, I had a child.
If I may stop you just for a second, I'm looking for this kind of, as accurate as you can, the dates that you actually lived in the property.
Okay, so like I said, I moved out. I came back. I want to say I was just out for maybe 6 to 8 months. The dates would be from 94 to 95. I came back. I had a baby. I stayed here. I worked. I took care of my mother. In 1999, I met a gentleman.
Ms. Bench, all he's asking you is when did you live in the property? He's not. I don't think he's asking you everything that happened in your life. So when did you actually, like, January to December of 1972, or when did you exactly live in the property?
Always lived in the property. I took out.
So you always lived in the property?
Yes, yes, sir.
You never moved out?
Yes, I did. That's what I'm trying to say. I went and got a house, residence in Irving district, Irving ISD district.
So when were those dates?
It was between 2011 to 2018, 19.
Okay, so you moved back in the property sometime between 2018 and 2019?
No, sir.
It-
I lived in the property
That was
during those
just,
days.
that was your testimony, is that correct?
No, sir.
That's
No.
not your testimony?
No, that's not my testimony. What I'm trying to tell you is that I used another address as a secondary address. I lived always here at 2210 Bombay. I only went to go get an address in Irving for my kids to have a better education. For them to attain the Irving ISD.
So
Mhm.
did they go to school in Irving?
Yes, they did. They graduated. All my kids graduated from Irving.
Did they, but they lived in the Bombay house?
Yes, they did.
Let's see. I apologize, I'm looking for. One second, Your Honor, I apologize. I'm not the best at this system.
Mr. Newton, I really feel like we're going pretty far afield here.
Well, Your Honor, if
This
you,
is just about an assault on a particular date.
right,
No.
we're trying to establish that, and her testimony was that she didn't move back there till 2018, 2019. She wasn't really even living on the premises potentially on that date, Your Honor.
Okay. I mean,
And
I've heard her testimony on that. I don't need to know if she lived there in 1972. So,
well, I was going to go to 2017, but yes, sir, I understand.
I don't know how much longer you have, Mr. Newton, but this is way beyond what I expected. So
I apologize.
I could probably give you another 20 minutes, but you need to.
I'm almost done with Mrs. Bench, Your Honor. So you stated that Mr. Anderson, when was have you ever paid property taxes on the property, Mrs. Bench?
Mr. Newton, let me tell you
Objection
what I want.
relevant, Your Honor.
What I want to hear at this point. You said you had videos you wanted to show me. I really want to
Well,
see
I'm not
those.
sure I can get the video showing. It's actually from, it's not from the date of the assault. It's from a subsequent date. And I'm not really seeing the relevance of entering it at this time, to be honest, nor do I know how to actually get it up on the screen. But I mean, I can do it through my phone and show it, hold it up.
Your Honor, I spoke with counsel about it. He can't sponsor that video.
Okay. Was it?
Well, I
filmed
can,
by-
I've got, if Mr. Anderson took the video, I can, Your Honor. But regardless, I don't really see that it's adding a whole lot of weight at this point in time, to be perfectly frank.
Okay. So no one has any of the video, any of the body cam, anything from the day of the incident. No one has produced any of that. The police reports, anything.
No call logs or anything, Your Honor.
Okay.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Newton?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Chu, anything else?
Yeah, in order to save time, I'm going to reserve my questions. I believe he had a witness he wanted to call.
So are you resting? Mr. Chu, are you resting?
Yes, I'll rest, Your Honor.
Mr. Newton, call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to call Corey Anderson.
All right, Mr. Anderson, you're still under oath.
Yes, sir.
You may proceed, Mr. Newton.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Mr. Anderson,
Yes,
when
sir.
did you first learn the exact date of the assault, the alleged assault?
A couple of days ago.
Or was it in the earlier session?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. He's attempting to impeach his own witness.
That objection's overruled.
Okay, so after learning of the date of the alleged assault, can you walk me through what you were doing on that day?
Yeah. So after finding out the date in the last session, I went through Facebook. I went through text messages. I went through bank statements. That morning, I was at Meteor Hamburger at a car show with my daughter. Had my daughter the entire day. My wife had a hair appointment. And then I went from there. I went to Walgreens. Then I went and had lunch at McDonald's, went and got a car wash. And then that evening I had dinner at Massiano's Italian restaurant. I went through text messages, bank records. I went through everything. I was in Wiley area.
Was anyone with you during that day?
My 5-year-old daughter.
Was
She's
anyone
5
else
at the
with?
time.
Was anyone else with you?
The owner of Meteor Hamburger, I met up with him at the car
Okay.
show.
But no one else traveled the day with you. Is that correct?
No, sir. Not until that evening.
Okay, so walk me through this transaction a little bit, if you don't mind, concerning the house. So when did you first learn that the house could be available, or at least an interest in the house could be available?
September 5th of 2017.
And so how do you know that?
That's the day I signed the contract with Kenneth Bench.
Now, is that the date that you also learned that the property could be available?
Yes.
So what made you move so fast?
Price?
So what was the initial price of that contract?
$25,000.
$25,000 for his interest in the home.
Yes.
And so how did you research the property prior to placing it under contract?
Just online, basically Dallas appraisal district, and that was about it. And did Google Maps.
Is that standard when you're purchasing properties like this, just to kind of put them under?
Oh yeah,
Contract.
we do a contract and do an option period, because between that option period, it gives us time to back out if it's a burned down house, vacant lot, if Google Maps isn't updated, or
Okay, and did you ever meet with Mrs. Bench in 2016?
No, sir.
Did you ever see her on August 12th, 2017?
No, sir.
Did you ever meet Mrs. Bench with Kenneth Bench present?
No, sir.
Have you ever met Al Carrasco?
Yes.
Okay, so have you ever met Jose?
Yes.
And have you ever met Oliver, who
No.
testified earlier today?
No, sir.
Okay. Have you ever been out there with the police?
Numerous times.
Why were the police out there?
For protection. I mean, basically protection, and basically because I was going to step foot on the property and post a thing on the front door.
Okay. And so you were posting notices to vacate, is that correct?
Yes. Previous council advised me to do that.
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
Fine.
That part's fine. So on your first notice to vacate, who were you asking to vacate?
Jose Castillo. He was the
And
only
you
one living
know-
in the house.
Do you know the date of that first notice to vacate?
Objection, Your Honor. Best evidence.
April 13th, 2018.
April 13, 2018?
Yes, sir.
And why did you not include Miss Bench in that notice to vacate?
She didn't live in the house. she wasn't there. Mr. Castillo was living in the house with his family, and just living there. So we were like trying to get him out so we could proceed.
You said in your earlier testimony that you had prepared a deed for Miss Bench. Is that correct?
Correct. Title company prepared 3 different deeds.
Yeah, a mischaracterization. He said Linda Marquez, not for Miss Bench. Mischaracterized in prior testimony.
Overruled.
So if I may take you back to Exhibit 6 real quick, which was the deed from Kenneth to you.
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't need to share screen. Well, yeah, I do too. Where am I?
Share a screen, you just need to hit the.
Yeah, what I'm looking for is it's not showing that for some reason. Let me pull it back up here. Let me see if it just fell off. All right. And then there we go. So is this, as best you know, a true and correct copy of the deed?
Yes.
How many pages is this?
2.
When you were at the property, did you ever ask Miss Bench to sign any papers?
No, sir. We asked her to make a deal. We were trying to buy her out or prove her ownership.
If you were to present any papers to her, would it, besides the notice to vacate, would it have ever been 25 to 50 pages?
No, sir.
Did you ever
I'm-
attempt to find an
Mr.
incident
Newton,
report?
Mr. Newton, I'm a little confused about something. Maybe I've missed this. Why was he posting a notice to vacate? Didn't Ms. Bench still own part of the property at that point?
Your Honor, the notice to vacate that we were just discussing was with Jose, not Miss Bench, because it's my client's belief that Jose was the only one living there at that time. And that was also Miss Bench's testimony as well. She did not move back into the house till 2018, 2019. He provided a notice to vacate in April of 2018 for Jose.
But at that point, he didn't own the entire property, right?
Correct, but he did own an interest.
Okay.
I was not his counsel at that point in time, so I can't speak to the exact reasons as to why or the legal efficacy of that.
Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and finish this up, Mr. Newton.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Anderson, did you ever attempt to find an incident report in this case?
I did.
Were you successful?
No. I reached out to Dallas PD. I gave them the address of
Objection.
the,
That calls for hearsay conversation between him and Dallas Police Department.
It's not hearsay. It's not hearsay yet. It's overruled.
I reached out to Dallas PD after figuring out the date. I asked them if there was any calls or police officers presence at that date or even the whole month. There was
Let me
nothing.
stop you right there real quick.
Objection. That's the hearsay, Your Honor.
Saying.
Did
Go
you
ahead.
ever attempt to find any call logs regarding this case on the date or the property?
Yes, sir.
Were you successful in locating any?
No.
Have you contacted Dallas police since you learned of the alleged date of the alleged assault?
Yes.
With whom did you speak?
Officer Gladden.
And what did you discuss with Mr. Gladden?
I was trying to
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
I'm asking what Mr. Anderson discussed with him.
Still, that's an out-of-court statement with the third party trying to prove the
Yeah,
truth of
I
the
think
matter.
that's definitely going to call for hearsay, sustained.
Were you, after speaking with Mr. Gladden, were you able to locate any call logs or incident reports?
none for the entire month.
Do you believe that one exists after your research?
No.
Again, so were you ever on the property on August 12th, 2017?
No, sir.
And it's your testimony that you started the day with your daughter at a car show
Yes, sir.
and you went where from there?
Walgreens, McDonald's, car wash, home.
Mr. Newton, I got it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Chu?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Anderson, you testified earlier this morning that you paid nothing to Kenneth Bench. Is that correct?
I paid the taxes.
Well, you said just now
Yeah.
that you had a contract with him for $25,000, did you not?
Correct. We did have an agreement for 25K, and then we found out
And
there
so
were
you
back
didn't pay
taxes.
that,
He
did you?
agreed for me to pay that and for legal stuff, and that's how I got the interest in the house.
And for what stuff?
I had to pay all the back taxes and legal to try to, all the title work, all this stuff that we drafted up, and he just was done with it and he wanted the house saved and not go to the courthouse steps.
And so you saved the house.
Yes, at that point, I made a deal with Linebarger and paid all the delinquent taxes for many years of delinquent
So
taxes.
you're saying Lineberger filed a lawsuit.
Yes, sir.
You know the case number?
I don't off right now.
And who was your attorney?
Your Honor, this is irrelevant. Objection, irrelevant.
Same.
So now you're saying that you thought Joe Castillo was the only occupant in the house. Is that correct?
Yes, that's what Joe told me.
Objection, non-responsive. And hearsay.
Overruled.
So you had a conversation with Joe.
Yes, sir.
What date was that on?
I can tell you. Do I have a minute to see the date? It would have been late September.
Of 2017.
Yes, sir.
So you were on the property
What
in
day was that
September
again?
2017.
Okay.
I'm looking at the exact date.
Yeah. I'm going to object to this witness reviewing a document that we have no idea what he's looking at, or if he's looking at messages or what.
Okay, I was looking at picture date. It was late September. I don't know the exact date off the top of my head of 2017.
So you've heard the testimony of the witnesses in reference to the assault, and you stated that you don't own a clipboard. Is that correct?
No, sir. If I showed up, it would have been with a manila file folder. Like, it would have been folder.
And you said you did research on police records. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
And that's not the first time you've done research on police records, is it?
No.
Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant.
Sustained.
So as far as these dealings with the constable and police, you have a video allegedly. Who took the video? Do you know?
I did.
So you shot the video showing you walking to the house.
Please repeat. I didn't hear the last part.
You shot a video of you walking to the house.
I shot a video of me at the house.
Okay. And who was in the video?
Police officers and Miss Bench.
And what year was that?
2019.
Okay. And is it accurate to say that you continually drove around the house in 2017?
Mr. Chu, none of this is relevant.
Relevance.
This is just about an assault on that one day. So
Yes,
Mr.
sure.
Chu,
Okay.
you need to finish up.
No, thank you.
Are you finished?
So, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Newton?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Does you rest?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I'll go ahead and make my ruling at this point. This is a hard one because it's kind of a he said, she said, but the plaintiff has the burden of proof here. Given that there was no video, no police reports, no call logs, no proof that this ever happened, and the plaintiff bears the burden of proof, I must unfortunately rule in favor, not unfortunately, but I must rule in favor of the defendant based on the burden of proof. Thank you guys so much. Mr. Newton, go ahead and give me a judgment on this. Rhonda, go ahead and put this on a 30-day dismissal docket. And we are done. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Your Honor, what about the offer of proof? When do you want us to put that on the record?
Oh, you had a chance back then to do an offer of proof.
You want us to do it before you?
No, I said you could do a bill and you didn't do one.
Okay, I thought you wanted to do it after the testimony.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That was about what, the issue of his criminal record?
About his impeachment, that he stated he never had anyone accused him of an assault, and you said I could put a bill in, and that we were in our
I meant you
main
could do
case.
a bill, right? I guess maybe it wasn't clear. Yeah, go ahead and just do a written bill if you want. I had meant that you needed to do a bill right then, and you just moved on. So I assumed that you didn't need to really cover it.
Oh, no, I usually take that to mean let's continue with the case, and then at the right time, we'll go ahead and present that. So I don't normally do it while the trial's in progress once the court tells me.
If there's a jury there, I understand that, but if the judge, I'm going to have to hear it either way. So,
okay, so you want to,
but to be honest, I don't know that it would make any difference. I mean, there's just no. I just didn't find the story credible, given that there was all of the evidence was lost or destroyed in ways that seemed kind of not credible. And then the fact there was no police report, no call. I mean, the fact that whatever his criminal record is, if there is one, is really kind of irrelevant. I don't think you carried your burden of proof that this even happened. So that's unfortunate. But I mean, if you want to put together a written bill, you can, and I'll be glad to accept it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. We will.
All right. Thank
Your
you so
Honor.
much, guys. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.